man, the #1 morning show in the morning. You know what it is. SHEABABYTV. I'm mad though, man, because my engineer this morning couldn't pull up, so I don't have all my sound effects and everything down like I wanted to have it. But let me see something. Hold on. Let me see if I can still play with it a little bit. Let's see. I don't know. Can you hear that good?
Yes, sir.
All right, so then we lit. All right, man. I want to welcome you to the morning show, man. I want to thank you for pulling up, man. I can't lie. The Instagram, you got to thank God for it sometimes. That's a fact. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, Cole, let's start from there. Hold on, I'm just putting on my, making sure my sound and everything is good. This is the same routine we go through every morning. All right, everything is good. Everything looks good. All right. All right, Cole. So, yeah, man, I want to start from the mud, man. I want to start from the beginning. Because I was looking through Google yesterday, and I noticed you played college sports.
I did. I was a college football player, believe it or not.
Bro, that's like big. That was big, bro. Like, how was that experience? What was that like?
Well, it was basically what I did my entire life. I was a quarterback up until I was about 24 years old. So I was doing that, kind of, devoting all my time and energy to that. And I was actually the backup in college. So that gave me a little more time to kind of fuck around and goof off. And I'm like, hey, I actually like doing this stuff. This is fun. So,
Right.
And it's all the same type of stuff. You know what I mean? All the, you put time in, you see yourself get better, you're consistent. It's literally exactly the same. So it was an easy transition.
Mm-hmm.
And I come from a entertainment family. My dad is actually a writer. So that it was just a natural kind of transition. I come from a entertainment family. My dad is actually a writer.
Mm-hmm. So wait, hold on. So wait, you played quarterback in college?
I did.
And that's D1, right?
Yeah, I played at Abilene Christian, which is a small D1 FCS.
No, but it's not small. Because I gamble a lot. I know about that school.
Okay.
They play TCU. They play Texas. That school is like sacrificial lambs in the beginning of the year. Am I right or wrong?
Exactly.
They play all the killers.
We get led to slaughter.
Yo, bro, every year I see you guys pop up on the lines, and I'm like, yo, who are these dudes? But they are playing the biggest schools in the year. Bro, so you must have been really a beast in high school.
Yeah, I was kind of under-recruited in high school. I went to a Division II at a high school, then I went to a junior college, and played really well at the JC, and ended up getting a scholarship to this place, which is, I wanted to play D1. Everybody, wants to. You have that dream when you start when you're a little kid, so that was always what I wanted to do. So it ended up working out for me, which was nice.
That's a fact. Nah, man, congrats, man. I know a lot of people that, that take the stuff serious, and they don't get to go D1. I know people that work out all day long and want to, they want to go to the next level. They want to go to the league, and they don't get a chance to do these things. So, that's big, man. They actually play D1 football. Did you was trying to play it at the next level, or it was just go to school, see what it is, and whatever?
No, I was trying to play as high as I could. Unfortunately, a 5'11" slow white quarterback is a little tough to get into the NFL. But yeah, the goal was always the NFL for me. So I guess this is the next best thing, telling jokes on stage and on Instagram.
Right. Well, you got some people up in there. They saying hi, Kaden. Shout out to Nisha. What's going on, Nish? The moderator's in the building. She's up. That's a fact. All right, man. So let's start from here, man. What inspired you to be a comedian, knowing that, when I saw you throwing the football, because you're right. Being a comedian, then you put a guy's name in the search box and you see him playing D1, drop it back like this, with fucking Rambo brolic arms. You're like, hold on, what's going on here? So What inspired you to be a comedian?
I honestly don't know. when you get laughter like that, it's a really addicting kind of thing. And once you understand, like, oh, I can write, or there's a way to manufacture this. Um, it made it worthwhile. And also, to your point, I saw Chris Rock get slapped in the face, and I'm like, all right, I don't think Will would do that to me. So I think this gives me a natural advantage, just based on how I'm
Facts.
built. So that made it easier. But yeah, I mean, it's been a long road. I've probably been writing for about 4 or 5 years, doing stand up for just over 1, and doing this Instagram stuff for probably 6 months, and it's been great for me. It's, opened a lot of stuff up, so I've been super thankful for that. Doing this Instagram stuff for probably 6 months, and it's been great.
Right. Okay, so okay, who are you? Who are the? What comedians would you say? I got my questions right here. A lot of I'm gonna be funny, but you know what's crazy? I interview a lot of artists, interview a lot of athletes. Never have questions, but for you, I had questions. That's crazy. No, because you know why? You're the first comedian that I ever, you know,
Hmm.
came face to face with. Pause. So I want to have my questions down. So I have my questions here. What would you say your biggest comedians that you say that inspired you to go to the next level? Like these were the people that I studied, that I was like, yo, these are guys that I like these are the guys that made me want to be a comedian.
Yeah, there's kind of 3. I mean, there's so many that are great. Um, but it starts when you're a kid and you're home alone and you're watching Comedy Central and you're like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen." But for me, it's like Louis C.K., Cat Williams, and like Russell Peters. I don't know if you know
He
Russell
said Cat
Peters.
Williams. Facts.
No, and the thing that's weird is everybody's talking about Cat Williams now, but the truth is he's always been one of the most brilliant comedians of all time for years and years and years. And now people are kind of seeing. I guess maybe they always knew, um, but he's truly brilliant, brilliant comedy mind.
Right. No, that's true. I love Cat Williams too, especially the interview with Shay Shay. That was crazy. All right. Do you remember the first time you performed? Have you ever done stand-up?
Yeah, yeah, I do it all the time.
Let's talk about that. Stand-up. What was that like? The first time doing it? How did you thought it was gonna be? Let's talk about it. Stand-up comedy. How was that experience?
It's I remember my first time being really nervous, but doing better than I expected. And so much of it's writing. People think you just make it up. No, a lot of it's writing and rewriting. Um, but it's really not that scary. I don't understand. It's one of people's biggest fears is public speaking, but I don't know. I guess I've been doing it since I was a kid. I've always been joking around and speaking in front of people, and it makes it easier when you were a quarterback, because you're used to
Right.
leading a crowd of people. So it kind of felt natural when I first started doing it.
Now, the whole comedian thing, doing stand-up, are you do the comedians do they look around for people to in the crowd to like, okay, I already see when I got something for him. I got something for him. Because they always pick people out in the crowd.
Yeah, if you're really comfortable, if you're working stuff out and you've got material and you're not super comfortable in yet, it's hard to weave in and out. It's hard to, do crowd work is what it's called, where you're making fun of the crowd and then talking about your material. But when you know your material in and out, you can find little spots where you're like, oh, let me ask this person about this. I know I have a bit that's kind of embedded in this that I can always get back into so I can fuck around with the front row. And you see all those clips now online. But some people are just really, really gifted at crowd work, and it's
Mhm.
fun.
Now, have you ever had like a person in the crowd get a little violent, get a little feel some type of way about the jokes?
Oh
Because
yeah,
I've
oh
seen
yeah,
people get a little ever since the Will Smith thing, it can get nasty.
yeah. Again, with me, they're a little more apprehensive to physically do stuff. Like that's the joke. Is it's like at a bar or club, you got a bouncer. At the airport, you got TSA. at a comedy show, you got me. Like the amount of times you see some wild motherfucker walk in and they just look at me. I'm like, they're like, "What do you think we booked you? You're fucking security." I'm like, "Come on, man." But no, but I like toe the line a little bit, as you can, a lot of my stuff. Some people get pissed. Most people I hope like it, but some people are like, yada yada yada. Um, so sometimes you'll get people yell out from the crowd and stuff, and you got to just kind of keep it together and keep it moving. But again, I bring it on myself. I'd like to toe the line and test the boundaries a little bit.
Definitely, definitely. Now you definitely doing your thing, man. I mean, you here with me. Your jokes are funny. You a funny dude, and I
Thank you,
love
man.
your skits. Now, have you ever thought about getting into acting? Because your skits are more than acting would be crazy for you. I can see you in a lot of movies. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you, dude. It's funny you said that. We actually have a sketch show coming out. We have 5 like pretty highly produced sketches out in the next probably month. And really the reason I got into stand up was I wanted to do comic acting. That's really what I want to do. I just didn't know how, because it's like, do you audition? Do you whatever? It seems like everything nowadays starts from social media. So that's why I started doing it. I'm like, no one's gonna see you if you don't post. So it gets you over that hurdle, and you're like, all right, fuck it. If no one sees it, if they hate it, whatever, I got to give myself a shot here.
Right. Yeah. No, because acting for comedian, that's the thing. Stand-up comedy for comedians and acting is it's like, to me, it's the same thing.
It
If you could do
really is.
stand up,
Really
you
is.
could do acting. That's why I asked you that. I feel like, like if you're a comedian and you don't want to get into acting, it's sort of not smart. I mean, people are laughing at you. You're acting 24/7. All right, now, what is your writing process like? Do you write your own scripts? Do you write your own, like, are you for the future planning on writing your own movies?
I absolutely do. I try to write every day. They say, oh, I write every day, but sometimes things get in the way. But I'll at least have. I like to actually longhand it with a pen and pad first before I put it on the computer. But I'll get a coffee or whatever. I'll sit there and write for an hour, 2 hours. Sometimes it's bullshit. Sometimes it's just my thoughts. It's not even joke form. It's not even script form. It's just getting it onto the pad, and that's what Instagram's
Right.
been good for, because I'll just speak into the camera on an Instagram story or something. And you'll get a little feedback, and you're like, someone's like, oh, there's something there or whatever. And then you can either turn it into jokes, or you can, put it into final draft and make a screenplay. But yeah, absolutely, I'd love to write my own screenplay, because again, the great thing with stand up is no one has to pick you. You can keep doing it yourself. But with acting, you got to get picked over and over and over and over again.
Right. That's a fact. Now, how much is this is a question I had to ask. How much is your skits, would you say, are like acting opposed to being really you? Or would you say like 90% of it is acting, 10% is you?
I think it's like 110% me. So it's like me, and you just turn up the notch a little bit and exaggerate just a little bit. But
I like that.
yeah, that's what's funny though. Like a lot of these comedians, they're very different on stage than they are in real life. But I would almost argue they're more themselves on stage, because they have the floor, and they can literally say the things that are on their mind.
That's a fact. Well, I wanted to show the people real quick because I like to, you know, keep them up to date on what's going on during the interviews. I want to go to one of your skits right now, one of my favorites, and I want to let them see it just so they can know where you're at with it. This is my favorite of all time. This will always be a classic. And you don't put that shit in your mouth like a pacifier, I'm gonna feel like you don't fuck with me for real. Sweetheart, okay, you know it's got nothing to do with that, okay? You know I fuck with you for real, okay? Just hold on one second, fellas. I'll be right back. It's just, I
I just brushed my teeth. That's all. Okay, I gotta work. I gotta run a meeting in there. Okay, and you expect me to put your little toy in my mouth? I'm sorry, it's not gonna freshen up the room. It'll quite like a stick of Trident gum will. Okay, and also now that this is honesty, all right, this has turned into a thing. Your diet could be better, could it not? Okay, do you really need to bring a bottle of hot sauce in your purse with you everywhere you go? Okay.
You want to go, my man? I can't lie. You are good at what you do, bro. I can't lie. Okay, a skit like that. What made you come up with something like that? Because that's crazy. Like, especially, what makes. So I definitely want to hear your answer. Sorry to cut you off, but what makes that skit so unique for guys like me, honestly, is the fact that you have the humor to do, like, the whole, honey, hold on. Like, because that's what we want to say.
Right.
That's what we want to say. We see all that on the gram. We see all this on the gram. 100%. What makes you come up with this?
I was scrolling on Instagram on my car, and my Instagram Explorer page, I got to be honest, it's wild in there. I got to fix it. I don't know what's going on. But I'm just scrolling, and I saw that video. I go, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know why. It just, sometimes you can't necessarily explain it. I just saw it in my head. I'm like, what if she had this like corny white boyfriend who has to like put up with this all the time? But like he still keeps it together. So I never thought it would get big like that. I thought it would just be like some stupid little thing that I
No,
did.
bro. No, bro.
And this,
You are on to something. I'm telling you that now.
and I remember the second I did it, like a couple minutes later, I had friends text me. They go, "Hey, this is going to go viral." I'm like, "What are you even talking about?" I didn't understand really how like the internet worked or any of that shit. And they're like, "No, no, 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 this shit's gonna go." And sure enough, it just. And I was like, "Oh my god!" And to this day, for whatever reason, most of my followers are black women. They just they love that video for some reason.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
SHEABABY.
But, okay, so why do you think that?
Well, I think it just that video went big and they saw it and they're like, I think some of them like white guys. To be honest with you, I think finally it's this tide's starting to turn in our favor here. But I don't. Well, in general, I think uh, the world's getting like so sensitive and stuff, but the black community has always been one that is a fan of comedy and like real comedy, and like don't tiptoe, just go all in. If you miss, you miss, but like go hard. You know what I mean? So I think they appreciate some of the stuff I do. They definitely don't appreciate some of the shit. They'll let me know when I fuck
That's a
up.
fact. Well, they loving you in the comments. They say, well, we love the fact he loves that brown sugar.
Yeah.
Give me more for that one. 100%. Okay. What was the most memorable moment for you doing all of this?
Oh man. I mean, it was definitely cool seeing some videos climb, and just seeing those. But there's nothing like crushing on stage. I'll say that. That's like when you're in the zone and you're just. I mean, it's the same thing as sports. You know what I mean? It's like that really is. Unless you've done it, it's hard to like describe to somebody. But hopefully, the best is yet to come. So hopefully, there's more stuff that happens with stand up and acting and all that other stuff. So
that's a fact. Now, doing the stand up, have you done like stand up comedy? Where like, have you ever been like on the bill with like other comedians? Like, your first time meeting them, like, yo, you're a funny dude, and like they say something to you, like, yo, you're a funny dude too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of the big guys. I don't know how many big comedians I've been on the lineup with. They don't know who the fuck I am. You know what I mean? But then you'll get guys like I had Sebastian Maniscalco follow me on Instagram. I almost had a heart attack. Like I love that guy, and I saw it, and I thought it was like a mistake or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck? But maybe he likes it. I don't know. So you
Yeah.
never know with the internet, like who can see it, you know?
No, but that's the thing about the internet. I mean, even like being here today, because I'm reading the comments here right now. It's like they're like ready out of nowhere. The comedian um interview comes up out of nowhere, but that's because of the internet. It's been so finding hip hop artists, finding athletes, but the comedians, these are the guys that make me. You guys get us through the day all day long on this internet. I'm not gonna lie, bro. You know what I mean? It's but so
Yeah.
much capping people could do 24/7. You want to laugh sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I felt like I needed to start reaching out to the comedians, and I saw that Shay, of course, on his show, that's what he did too. And those people are very, very, very famous, man. Not gonna lie. And you on your way. I ain't gonna hold you. So, have you ever had a performance that went horribly, that went left, and that you felt like, oh my God, like, this is not for me? Do you ever get discouraged doing it?
Oh yeah. I mean, you bomb all the time, especially when you're first starting. Like there's always times where you'll get off stage and someone in the crowd like goes up to a fellow comedian and they're like, "Man, great job," and then they go up to you and they're like, "Yeah, man, keep going." You're like, "Oh, motherfucker."
Right. Now that leads up to my next question. So that means you must handle pressure very well. Being a quarterback, being in situations, is
I
this
get.
sort of like the same thing?
I guess. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, the worst part is right before you go on, where you're kind of thinking everything and your mind's going, and then once you're on, you don't think about it. Just like football, the first hit happens, and then you're good to go.
Right.
But yeah, it's. I mean,
So now,
I guess you do handle pressure. I get.
now about handling the pressure, that's why I asked you that.
Mhm.
Being in different atmospheres, like okay, doing a random club in Oklahoma opposed to doing the Apollo. When you step on to these scenes, do you feel you have to change up stuff from the game plan according to the atmosphere in what's in front of you?
hundred
You
percent.
might have a whole joke full of, you know, hell, whatever jokes you have planned for the day, and then you go in front, you see a whole bunch of people like, okay, the jokes I planned for the day might offend these people. Let me go this way.
Yeah, the crowd definitely determines a lot of the stuff that you do. That's why you have to have so much material on you in your memory at any given time because you never know. You walk in somewhere, you think it's going to be one way, and it turns out it's the other way. But it will surprise you. Like there are people who you think aren't going to want the edgy stuff, but then you do it and you see them light up, and you're like, oh, I never would have thought they would have liked that. But sometimes you just got to take the risk and do it, and hopefully it works out.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah. All right. So I had a question that I wanted to ask you that was from earlier. Oh yeah. Yes, 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 yes. This is one of the things I didn't have written down. Um, as far as you said earlier that Cat Williams is a guy that one of the comedians that you said you studied and that you like. He has a tour. Would you like to be involved in those type of tours, like with Cat Williams, of course,
Oh
and be
my
on the
god.
road?
Yeah, that
Is that
would
like
be
a
a.
is that like something like that's on
Oh
that
yeah.
that that's you want to happen?
Yeah, that would be the coolest thing ever. Yeah, that would be amazing. I think he has like his own guys
He
that
does.
come with him. But yeah, I mean, and for everything I hear about Cat in particular is that he really is like a student of comedy and he's willing to share with the younger comedians. Not everybody is. Some people are, they're a little more distant, a little more standoffish. But and again, I don't know him personally, but yeah, that would be an amazing opportunity.
Right. Now, are there any tours or anything like? Are you coming to New York? Are you coming like? Is it anywhere where people can see you at? And because I, I bet your stand-up comedy is unbelievable. Because I mean, you caught my attention. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm still kind of building an hour. So I've got about there's probably a little more than an hour of raw material, but in terms of like tested, tried and true stuff, it's probably 30 minutes. So once I have that hour, then it really gives you more flexibility to like, hey, I'll go to New York or I'll go to Oklahoma or I'll go to some club in Florida or something. Um, but yeah, usually for headlining spots, they want you to have at least an hour of stuff. So once I do that, I'll probably end up you try at least trying to take it on the road and see how that goes.
Oh, so you saying like so basically you're saying an hour of material in the comedy world is a lot of material. Like that's hard to do, an hour of material.
Yeah, like all those specials you see on Netflix or any of that stuff, that's all
Right.
an hour. So that's what, Cat Williams say. He has an hour and 15 minutes and, he may change some things depending on where he is. That's what he does in the clubs and the theaters and the arenas, I guess. And then once he finishes that tour, he'll have
Right.
Netflix or whoever, and he'll, they'll have a deal there, and then he'll put that special up, and then he's done with that material. Then he's writing new material for the next hour.
Gotcha. All right. Hip hop. What's your favorite artist?
Well, honestly, The Game and 50 Cent are my two favorites. I know you're
I
a New
like
York
that.
guy.
I like that.
Um,
Okay, so my next question is even better. Since 50 Cent is your favorite artist. Good answer. I've been going through your page and I noticed that you haven't really talked too much about the whole situation. This is why this is good right now, to get you in the reels about this. The whole P. Diddy situation. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, he's fucked. You know what I mean? He's. It was one thing to hear about this stuff, but the video that just came out, I mean, I bet you there's lawyers who don't even want to take his case because they're like, I don't know how to win it. There's no winning in this. He's just,
There's no
yeah,
winning. You're talking about the Cassie case.
yes, the Cassie case. He, that was wild. But uh, everybody, like, I'm from LA, so you would hear
Oh, you're from
stuff.
LA.
I'm from LA.
Omar! Omar!
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Omar in the building. He's from LA. He's a regular. He comes in here every morning. He's an LA dude. Omar, you got an LA dude in the building. Yes, sir. Okay, so LA, you see Diddy running around a lot then.
Yeah, and you like, I would know people who like knew his kids or whatever, and like I'm sure they're great. I don't know him personally, but you would always hear like, yeah, shit's kind of wild over there, and you're like, yeah, of course it is. It's P Diddy, but you don't realize, you know,
How wild it
P
is until
P
it
P
happens.
Diddy be wanting to party, and you got to tell him no.
Yeah, yo, because look, bro, I'm gonna tell you, being a billionaire, living in LA, the baddest women are in Miami, New York, and LA. Let's keep it real.
Right.
But if I had to pick one, I'm gonna run with LA.
Really?
I'm gonna run with LA. Because they got all the fake models out there, the fake Instagram chicks. Like New York, when chicks live in New York, it's like, yo, you come to New York, you going through a grind. You paying $5,000 a month to have a rat run in front of you. You know what I mean? So, a lot of people are gonna go to LA and go to Miami, the real bad chicks that try to get into the industry and get to the life. Let's keep it real. You know what I mean? So being a billionaire and being out there is not easy, especially with these females looking for these money. So, I can imagine what those house parties was like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, did you ever get a chance to go up to these house parties? Being
Fuck
from
no.
LA. He said, fuck no.
No. No, he didn't have me in there, man. I would have though. I would have went in a second. I would have shut the fuck up. Oh man, I don't know what I
He's
saw.
like, would
I
have
don't
been a
know.
second.
Yeah, I would have been, man. He's a great guy. I don't know, man. No.
That's a fact. Oh man. So being that 50 Cent is you said that's one of the biggest artists that you like, do you see him trolling Diddy out there and everything like this?
Yeah, I've always known. 50's always fucking hilarious, but he's right all the time, and you're like, oh, he wasn't lying. Like he's literally just. I think 50's advantage, and I've actually made a video about this, is that 50's one of the only rappers who's like actually about it, it seems. So he's just bullies these dudes because everyone else is like a theater nerd. They're like Drake. What the fuck is Drake? You know what I mean? All these diss tracks. Like, I love Drake, but it's like he's on Degrassi. He's not some tough guy. Like 50's been shot in the face,
That's
so he
right.
doesn't give a fuck.
SHEABABYTV.
Come on, we talking about Drake. 50's been shot in the face. That's the fact. So basically you came up off the 50 era.
What's up?
That's the era you came up off, the
Yeah.
50 era.
hmm
So you would say 50's the GOAT, period.
Well, I mean, it's hard. I was thinking about it. He's not. I don't think you can say he's the GOAT, but for me, in terms of just who I like listening to, yeah,
Right.
he's one of my favorites. I mean, the GOAT argument is so tough because, I mean, I guess you technically can't argue with Drake, but he's not really the same type of thing as a guy like 50. And I think Kendrick's more talented as a lyricist, but in terms of who my ear wants to listen to, I'd much rather listen to Drake than Kendrick. That's just, I got to be honest.
Right. Now, are you familiar with what's going on? First of all, this show in the mornings, this is why I wanted to bring up a couple of these things with you, because this is what these people pull up in the morning. They hit this smoke. So, you know what I mean? I just want to get a little bit of the smoke in
Right.
with you. Pause. But, okay, are you familiar with the guy, Roy, who wrote the records for Drake?
No, I knew he had a team of guys who did. I assumed, but
Okay.
I don't know him
So the
specifically
reason
or
I
what
brought
he's.
that up is yesterday 2 records leaked out, and which one of the records here, I'll play it for you. One of the records was it was Drake's. They compared both of the songs. Like, you can't take away from Drake that he's not talented, because this is the prime example right here. These are the 2 songs that the guy submitted to Drake, and then Drake redid the song. And, a hit is a hit. You tell me what you think. I'm on my rich. I turn out the bitch. I turn out the bridge. If you ain't sure. Black Porsche, cause I let my movie fast. Watch your homie, you be movie on his ass. In the rocket, and that bitch ain't got no tax. Louis bags in the street for body packs. Now, Drake. Sick of these niggas. Hire some help. Get rid of these niggas. Sick of this shit. Go to the rich. Turn out the bitch. It is what it is, yeah. Okay. A complete different record.
Right.
A complete different record. You can't take it away from Drake, man. That's why I said you might have to put him in the top 5 because of the hits. Those are 2 different songs, bro.
Right.
I would have never listened to that first song.
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. And you're right. And a lot of it, like everybody at that level has writers for the most part. When you just reach that echelon. So I never had a problem with the ghostwriter thing. I think that was just people not understanding how the industry worked or how the bit, like, yeah, of course you have writers, even if you're not using it all the time. Of course you have at least people sending stuff to you. And if you trust them, you're at least giving it a look and going, oh, this is good. This is whatever. But yeah, he objectively has talent. Drake, you know what I mean? You can't knock it.
That skit that you did with the black girl with the butt plug thing and all that, if I do that skit, it's not going to be as funny as
Right.
as you did it. So that's why I said that if you wrote it or if another person wrote that skit, you still can't take away from the talent of the person delivering the skit.
Completely agree.
So that's why I say at this point of the game, when it comes to people like Drake and it comes to Sandlot Johnny, that's just a name I made up, a rapper in the hood, right? Who's keeping it real, who won't let someone write a record for him, right?
Right.
Maybe he might need to let somebody write a record for him.
I agree.
He'll get a basketball court in the basement like Drake.
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. You're right.
So at some point of the game, we have to figure out keeping it real opposed to making money. Now, for you as a comedian, is that something that in your world you guys are like, too, like, I don't want no ghostwriters. I want to keep it real. Or are there people who writing these people's scripts?
Yeah, there's both. Definitely like scripts, like acting, somebody else is writing that a lot of the time. Um, but with stand up, the part that's hard with getting jokes from somebody else is you have to write it in what's called your voice. So you have a perspective,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a guy like, Bill Burr or Bernie Mac, they see the world in a way that only Bernie Mac sees the world. So if you can have someone write jokes in Bernie Mac's voice, then absolutely, I think he'd be foolish not to at least give him a look, especially when you're at that stratosphere of success. But it takes someone really talented. Even with Drake, someone's got to write it in Drake's voice. Some song that Drake's going to do is not the same song that somebody else is going to do, and vice versa.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not. No, I mean, if you listen to Cat Williams, he talks about when he does the Michael Jackson bit in the Pimp Chronicles, that his comedian buddy Mark Curry, who most people don't really know about, helped him write a lot of that stuff. And Cat Williams is a brilliant writer himself.
Oh, I love Mark Curry. Mark Curry's definitely the GOAT.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Cool.
crazy.
So
You know your history, bro.
yeah. Well, you
That's
have to. You have to.
You really studied this shit, bro. I can tell.
Yeah. I mean, I think you'd be foolish not to. And if you enjoy doing it, it's not a chore.
No, not only that you studied it. This plays a major. Okay, the culture. You know about the culture. That's gonna take you far, bro. I'm telling you, the culture is everything. Like when it, because the comedians, what got a lot of these comedians through the 80s and the 90s, I'm sorry, it was the culture.
Right.
Am I wrong? Am I right?
No. I mean, you're absolutely right, and especially now, I feel like it's definitely the case. And again, like I'm white. I'm a white dude. Now I played football, so you grow up around it and you kind of understand it. But I get told all the time, "Shut the fuck up, white boy." And I'm like, "All right, I need to shut the fuck up now." But like for the most part, yeah, like think about guys like Drewski and how he blew up and how talented he is. That's all the culture.
That's
That's people
100%.
that's people going, "Look at this dude. This dude's funny." And that's the same thing that's kind of happening to me now, even though I don't look like Drewski. Um, that's kind of the world I'm in right now, at least on the internet. And I think you're right. I think that is where most things start.
No, it does. I mean, because look, for instance, this platform right here has been a hip hop platform, sports platform. But when I saw that skit, I said, this dude is for the culture. We got to get him on. There's some guys that us as the culture's media that we want let through the doors, and that's you.
Well,
And I
thank you. I
promise you,
appreciate it,
bro,
man.
you're gonna be one of them dudes real soon. I guarantee it, man. I guarantee it. All right,
Thank you, man.
what's next up for you? What do people? What's next for the fans? What you have anything coming up for these guys that they could be interested in? Looking forward to.
Yeah, I talked about it a little earlier. I got that sketch show coming out. We have 5 banked, like 4 minute sketches. Like think of like the Chappelle Show or Key and Peele or any of that stuff. And we spent a lot of time working on those, and then we're going to get another season going. For everybody who's in LA, I'm at the clubs, usually the Hollywood Improv, sometimes the Laugh Factory, some smaller places around. Um, and then just on social media, just continuing to put stuff out. But like you said, when it comes time to go on the road, New York City is one of the places I'd love to. I'd love. In
Oh yeah,
fact,
when you come to New York, I'm there. That's a
in
fact. You got to
yeah,
see that.
in fact, New York City really is the best place for stand-up comedy for a lot of different reasons. And I've actually thought about maybe in a couple years' time, actually moving to New York temporarily and just hitting the clubs and doing that scene for a couple years. Because I mean, everybody complains about the city they're from, but the times I've been in New York City, there's nothing like it's the best city that our country has to offer, I feel. I love
100%.
I love
Yes,
LA,
sir.
but New York is the capital of where things happen in this country. So I don't know. I've always wanted to kind of live there for a little while.
Yeah. Nah, man, you're right, man. New York is definitely and listen, and this is a fact. If you could make it in New York, and I'm talking about living, music, acting, comedy, you can make it anywhere. Because I'm gonna tell you,
Right.
they brutal. They brutal. But they're gonna like you. Because the
Right.
New Yorkers are like me. That's a fact. They're gonna like you, man. 100%. Yo, bro, I want to thank you, man, for pulling up, man. I don't take too much time to people, man. You know, once I sit down and talk with people, we build a bond. You come family with me in the platform, and we're gonna stay in touch, man. And I'm gonna be pretty much reposting a lot of your stuff on the platforms and just keep you in the mix, man, for sure.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, man. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. My man. I'll see you soon. All right.
Have a good one, man.
All right, Cole.
I'll see you.
My man. Later.